Hi, welcome to the pilot episode of Eat Some Dynamite podcast. I'm Joe Aquino, one of the co-hosts. This show is about the video game industry, game design, fine art scene in the Philippines. On this episode, we bounce around the current state of the industry, and where is it going, and also how we all got into this. So, episode 1, enjoy!
Because I don't have all my dynamites. Eat my dynamite. First of all, Eat My Dynamite is
Some
some dynamite. Oh my. First
Reset!
Now this is going in.
Yeah.
We're doing a terrible job. Okay, again, this is Eat Some Dynamite, a podcast focusing on the entertainment industry, not specifically the video game industry here in the Philippines. I am Jemuel Bernaldez, a senior texture artist from Studio of Secret 6, and I've been working here for 4 years. I've been working here for 4 years now, and this is probably our second attempt to create some sort of podcast in order to help other people like us who are working in the industry, and as well as inform other people who aren't aware on how the industry works and how they would like to be part of the team. Joining me right now is few of my co-workers in the studio, starting with Mr. Kyle Labad.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle. I am the lead animator in Secret 6. I've also worked here for about 4 years. And I came here after studying in New Zealand because I heard that there were a lot of opportunities here. So yeah, that's what brings me here. We'll get to more about me later on, but for now I'll pass it on to Kim.
Good evening. My name is Kim Bangkola.
He's back.
Bang, bang, bang.
He's back.
What do I say? I'm a 3D artist here in the studio of Secret 6, and I've been working here for about 4 years, but minus a year because I left. I just got back a few months ago. I left for a year.
You left to surf.
Yeah, I
Taking
just
a
left
sabbatical.
to travel, but
Community
now I'm
nature.
back in action.
He missed the
Back
D.
in action.
Back in the grind.
I miss the guys, the hot guys here, the hot men of 3D.
He missed the D. The 3D.
Yeah,
But there's only 3 of you.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm a 3D artist here, and I'll pass it on to Jory.
Hi, good evening, guys. I'm Jory. I'm lead technical artist here at the Studio of Secret 6. I've been working here now for, I believe, this June is my 5th year. Too long. Too long, guys.
Way too long. Do you think we should stick that? We should leave that in.
Yep.
Oh, fine. All right.
Fuck
So-
it. Who cares?
Yeah. So,
That wasn't a description of how long he's been working here. It's a description of something else. Too long.
yeah, and the room's
Too
getting
long.
the room's just
Get
getting
it, get it.
The room's getting a bit steamy. All right. So first of all, regarding on the industry, especially in our line of work, there were most of the time, especially in our line of work, people would ask, like for example, you're going in a family reunion. Some of you like to be there, some of you may not. And most of the time, we'd encounter really awkward situations where sometimes our aunts or our uncles would come up to us and say, "Hey, are you working? And where do you work?" And our usual answer would be,
Oh yeah.
"Oh, um, I'm a video game artist." And the look in their faces would be like, "Ah." Suddenly we've lost interest in them because somehow they'd be expecting that we'd be architects or engineers,
Lawyers,
yeah,
doctors.
the usual stuff.
Or they get really proud looks on their faces. Like my son does something way better than
Oh.
you.
In a perfect world, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
My son's a nurse. You do
he
cartoons.
works abroad.
Bitch.
Oh, you're doing those kids stuff, huh? The one like Clash of Clans. My son plays Clash of Clans.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Angry Birds. Yeah. Yes, Tita, you got fat. Okay.
Yeah. So one way or another, we cringe at those situations, but then they're family, and we'd have to answer them with our jobs. And even though we answered them like with pride or dignity, say, "Hey, I make video games, and it's what I love." Usually, they would just go, "Ah, okay," and then the conversation ends. So the question now is how. The question now that I would ask the three of you, all right, including myself, is how what got you into working in the industry? I mean, like imagine if you were a little kid. What was that spark that gave you the idea that oh I'm gonna create video games on my own one day and be the games that I love or exactly or say anybody who likes drawing will say I'm gonna make my own comics and so yeah.
It's a very fair question. Well, funny enough, speaking of kids, mine started when I was a kid. I started drawing when I was 3 years old. I watched an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh shit.
and I really liked Leonardo, and I had a blue pen. And so I asked my dad, because I didn't know how to draw at the time, Dad, can you draw me a picture of Leonardo? And my dad's an architect, so he really doesn't draw turtles for a living. But he drew one for me anyway. But I think my mom called him to go do something. I forgot what. But he only drew half of him, so he had no legs. And so I got the pen, and then I drew like these really ugly looking feet, but I still drew them anyway, and I shaded them. And that's what got me drawing. And ever since then, I kept drawing. And I got into 3D because of Toy Story in 1995.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was watching that Toy Story. As I'm sure you're all familiar, made by Pixar. I was watching that and I thought to myself, "Hey, I like cartoons, but 3D cartoons are so much better.
Everything's shiny.
Everything's shiny. It's so real. The graphics are wow.
Even the dog.
Looking back at them now, it's not. Yeah, But yeah, that's what got me started. And ever since then, I've kind of just known what I wanted to do, and I never really saw myself doing anything else. So I'm glad it worked out, and I'd be a bum otherwise. Yeah.
Now tell me how was your first drawing of Ninja Turtles look like? Because
It was shit.
yeah, because
Hey Jim, don't even go there.
I told you it was bad, man. Don't need to rub it in.
I just wanted to know because it's pretty much the same way how I got into drawing because Ninja Turtles was a big thing back then. It's like turtles with ninja swords and stuff.
Yeah.
They all have different colors and Shredder. So I remember trying to draw at least one of the turtles because they pretty much look alike in my 8-year-old mind. So
Yeah.
they're just basically full of circles and then just colored them accordingly.
Big ass muffin nose and everything.
There's not even a muffin, it's just a circle.
Yeah.
Even the shell was really bad. It looked like they have 4 boobs with the belt.
Do you think you have boobs at that age?
Right.
Yeah.
I was a curious kid. So anyway, how about you, Kim?
Yeah.
when did you first start realizing I'm gonna be an artist? I don't care how low the pay is.
Did you know that?
And when did you decide I gotta get paid? I gotta get paid.
Did you know the pay was going to be this low coming into it? Because I had no idea.
The concept of money wasn't that.
Yeah, at 3, I was just like, cool.
Yeah, my mom could buy some stuff.
Well, I started when, I guess, like Kyle, at a young age, I just drew Wolverine a lot. And, but to tell you the truth, I never really, like, pushed myself, like, draw all the time. I guess I was the sports kid
Um,
back then.
mm,
But I drew occasionally, and
In between sports.
yeah. And then when I got to college, I studied. My first degree was programming, no connection at all with arts. But then I shifted to advertising, no connection again at all with
Oh.
video games.
Oh, well, still, it's
Yeah.
in the field of arts.
Yeah, the art of selling bullshit.
But you're going to say myself.
After that, after I graduated from advertising, I didn't really know there was a job with games. But yeah, I just searched the net and then I found the studio of Secret Six. And then I went for the interview and I failed. And but I discovered then how cool it was to I saw the people doing work, 3D work and the drawings and stuff. So but I failed, so but I told myself I would go back and try again.
Mm.
So
Spoiler, he got in eventually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
So you pretty much started late,
Yeah.
sort of saying. I mean, you took a little break, and it was when did you shift in advertising?
I was a third year. I was in third year in programming school.
How old were you when that happened?
I guess.
Just
19.
19. Okay, yeah.
He's trying to pick him up.
And then
Yeah, then I got tired of it, so I asked my parents if I could go. I always had the inclination for creatives and stuff, but never really drew that much before.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was the next phase.
Okay, cool. And how about you, Jory?
Well, what got me is we had actually a family of artists.
Oh,
I have three aunts that graduated in fine
wow.
So you have a completely different reunion, right?
arts. I guess so.
Yeah. They understand. They don't question that.
Yeah.
Are you working at Pixar now? No? Okay.
And actually, what inspired me to go ahead and pursue fine arts is I have this one aunt who works as a creative director for an advertising agency.
Whoa, it's big. Right here, locally? Or-
Yeah, local.
Mm.
So I kind of drew a target that I want that.
I want to be like her.
Yeah.
I want to make lots of money.
So yeah, then
I just want to draw all day.
I got into fine arts, major in advertising, but
You-
fortunately I'm an undergraduate.
Mm.
I stopped when I was in third year.
Mm. What school did you go to?
I went to, ironically, it's called Philippine Women's University.
Yeah. Sure, you went there for art. Art. life
hold
drawing.
ranking up the units.
Yeah.
Hang on. Kim went to Saint Scholastica's
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who doesn't know, Saint Scholastica is infamously known as
An all-girls school.
um,
But they allow men in fine arts.
We
and
weren't
music.
saying you're not a man.
Yeah.
No need to get defensive. They
So,
allow,
Yeah,
they allow
No one's
men.
questioning genders here.
Yeah.
so when they allow men, how many were the men that came in?
We were 6.
Okay.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
No, I mean I find art schools, they do have a lot of girls. I mean, the
Yeah,
university
they do.
I went to, I think the ratio was for every 3 guys there were 11 or 12 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were a fashion school. So I mean,
Oh.
yeah,
For real? I mean,
yeah, we were known for fashion and for design. So I mean I did design, but there were a lot of fashion students. Yeah, that was fun.
what was your major?
I majored in computer animation. So
Okay.
not so many fashion students where I was. I was kind of locked away in a dungeon with all the
Well,
other
glitz and glamour.
yeah, and all the heat.
Man, you could have seen more
Well, at
moves,
least
man.
you're at the right start in the game.
Yeah. No, I'm coming to the Philippines. I actually realized how lucky I was to have a course that was specifically about computer animation. Because I mean, yeah, I don't think they, it's at that time it still wasn't widely offered here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that was good. It worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean it is something that most of us, well, I think most of us that are working right now in the video game industry, not all of us took a course that specifically say video game arts. Like for example, Jory took advertising. I myself am a advertising major, and well, pretty much after graduation, advertising is the only thing I know. It was just after graduation and after a few resumes that were turned down after a few months without any work. And here the funny thing was I learned about this studio when my thesis advisor told me, "Hey Jim, I'm gonna recommend you to a friend of mine," and he tells me that they're looking for a guy that could draw that could draw full anatomy figures. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I like I like drawing. I like drawing anatomy figures when we were in college, even though the units were just like this small because yeah, it's an advertising school. Most of it were just focused on creating ads, copyright, the works. But with regards to creating art and learning the very principles of art, it's very minimal. So anyway,
This your favorite, right? Drawing the male anatomy figure.
male and female.
Okay.
apparently. So yeah, they told me to draw some just well basically they told me just draw people, and I like drawing people because I do like making comics. So when I got here, it was to my surprise that this is a video games studio. And the next thing I know, our director said, "Okay, you're hired. So from now on, you're a texture artist." I was like, I don't even know what that is. I mean, I look in the monitors and they were like, with a Maya ZBrush. What is this? And what's this thing? Wacom. Oh my god, I've never used a Wacom before. And all this time, I thought I was just gonna draw and be happy, but nah. But then again, it did help me learn most of the things that I wanted to learn that are found in most of the schools. I mean, not right now because there are already I believe some schools have provided specialized courses for video game art specifically.
Yeah, they're really lucky these days. I mean,
Very
there are
lucky with their
so many more schools now offering like video game specific courses.
yeah, with their syntax and their
Yeah.
license.
What are those schools? I think what's that game? It's a specific. I think Benilde has a game course.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think informatics. I think has one.
There's this.
I mean, there are a lot of small public universities that offer those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
so far, it's been that's been headlining on teaching the new generation about video game art.
I mean, it's good and all that, but the problem is we're not inviting industry people to teach.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fun. That's the funny thing that just as from the way I see it, just as long as you're working in a video game studio right here, you're considered being an industry standard, which was yeah, it was a big surprise for me. Like remember the times when you well not Praka, he was in he was he studied in New Zealand, but
I feel excluded. I'm gonna go in a corner and cry.
I'll bring some tissue for you. So anyways, it was like growing up during the early years with like, oh my god, these guys are amazing and all the things that they could do. And you heard people from the Philippines that are working from those kinds of studios. And I'm like, right on, we can actually do something like this here, especially here in the Philippines where when you say you're working as an artist, it's something that has been frowned upon since whenever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anything that's not accounting or being a nurse, from what I've heard.
or an engineer.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, so where was I? Okay, going back, it was the state of the education that we're in. Again, just to bring up the point that all of us pretty much graduated from from a course related to the arts. Advertising is one, multimedia arts is second, which is in my opinion is just like the course where they cram everything into your brain and you have to decide on where do you want to go.
Yeah.
And it's in a tri-semestral format. So
Yeah.
for those of you unaware, tri semester imagine half going to going to college with very limited amount of time for breaks or even summer break because man the things they just tell you to do without even expounding stuff that they really need to know because I mean I get them there isn't much to offer students from the arts like it's either they go their own way or try as hard as they might to leave the country because that's where the work is right
Yeah.
or they could turn into painting, commercial painting, or at least in advertising. So now, like, what I would like to ask, what I would like to ask you guys is, since we're on topic, how do you think, how do you think this the generation now for future game developers look like? I mean, it's pretty doing okay so far people are more aware now of hey we can actually this is actually legit work
Are
people
we
get
talking
paid for
about students?
yeah the students I mean and compared again I would like to do a comparison from what you experienced before and to what they experience now how was it like and how do you feel about
Well, coming into it, like you mentioned, I didn't study here, but from what I've seen of the students that we've met through internships and through talks that we've done and things like that, yeah, you're right. They really tend to cram as much as they can just to give students options.
it
But what I found with that is when you let them out into the industry, into the wider world of work, uh, they often come up a little bit short. Like they know a little bit of everything, but they can't push further than the very entry level knowledge that we kind of expect everyone to have anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what I found was in New Zealand when they taught me from our very first year we'd specialize. We don't have any general topics at
Mhm.
all, and then we just keep specializing and specializing and specializing. So at the end of it, I only really knew how to do one thing,
Mhm.
but I knew how to do that one thing, to a level where I was comfortable in applying to different places. And I remember seeing some interns come in here, and we tend to interview them about what they know. And yeah, what we all saw was there's a lot of knowledge that wasn't getting taught to them, things that they should know if they're really wanting to apply in this industry. And yeah, I think that's due to, as you said, the lack of high level, top level professionals kind of getting into the educational side of things, and doing not just doing the work out there, but filtering that down to the future generations so that they know what's actually involved in the industry, not just what some people think is involved, because they're not out there doing it, but to get these top level professionals and get them to actually speak of their firsthand experience about what it's like to develop AAA games, and what it's like to work really really tight deadlines, and what it's like to just kind of immerse yourself in that environment. I think that'll make a huge change.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I remember a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was curious.
Who's this? This is a girl.
Oh no, sadly no.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Was he cute?
sadly no. So anyway, it was a funny conversation because here we are talking about how standards are supposed to be. Like, oh man, you're like what Kyle said, when we see interns, we feel like, oh man, they're not. It's not so much. It's not so much on what they're aiming for that industry standard thing. You could pretty much see that it lacks almost. I couldn't say everything. That might be too harsh, but most of it. What do you want to know? Because from the way I see it, when looking for their portfolios, there are only few some that when they show their portfolios, they're not showing their just what they know, but they're pretty much showing who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the form of identity that I can do this, but this is my kind of take with it. This is my own spin with it. And some people would argue, because you're comparing stuff from the outside. I would say, yeah, we're comparing stuff from the outside because that's the industry standard.
That's
that
what
we
you have to compete with. You
Yeah.
can't aim for a lower bar because you're trying to compete with
Yeah.
all of these people that have been doing it for years.
The usual complaint that I get is that, we're sorry, we're just students. I mean, that's exactly it. You are students, and how come this isn't what how come you're showing us something that we probably have no chance of hiring you for that kind of stuff.
But I mean, in today's generation, they really have no excuse of just saying they're just students.
I mean, because they can see what's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
the videos are there, the show.
Yeah, I mean the resource is.
Yeah, I mean the internet is pretty much open to all, especially universities right now.
But in their defense, I don't think they're aiming for a lower standard. It's what they're being taught.
Yeah,
They don't have much time, like you said. It's all cramped in, so they don't have that much time
Yeah.
to develop what it would take to make a full polished portfolio. They
yeah.
just, on top of all the other papers that they have to do, it might not be possible.
Do you think it's because it's still being a major regarding, especially anything that is similar to the arts? They're still more folk, and putting it in a weighted scale. Grades are still much more important than the quality of your work. But I'm pretty sure there are professors that would stress out. Give me good work, then you give good grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I can't help but feeling like the way that I felt during my college years. It was more like, you do this, and I'll give you a passing grade. I mean, this is alright as long as you just submit
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, there are some profs that say, do harder. What is this? You're in a senior year and you haven't done anything good. What have you learned in 4 years? Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I think that is something. I think that's pretty much the problem again for the university for not, like what Jory said, getting some people who are from the industry.
Yeah, it was a big problem. I remember when I was in college, I actually had a 3D animation class, and at the start of the semester, the professor asked the class, "What do you want to watch?"
Mm-hmm. Did
Um,
you say porn? Please
no,
say
no.
porn.
The professor asked us, "Do you want to watch the original Star Wars, episode 5, 6, 7? I no, right?
Yeah,
4,
yeah.
5, 6,
456.
4, 5,
5,
6, or 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the whole semester."
Just that?
Yeah,
Well, so what do you learn from that?
Yeah.
nothing, man.
That was way different from my animation course. I'll tell you that.
Shit, I should enroll to your school.
Yeah.
That's bad shit. Like, I learned a lot about the names of the planets in Star Wars, but
Tatooine. And the
that's the
lore.
problem. I guess that's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's-
saying the professor is incompetent, but
You never had
From
the
what
chance
they
to
did.
find out.
Wait. What's his reason for you guys watching that? Star Wars saga.
So we could around. Yeah, he'll just leave us watching Star Wars.
But did he pass all of you at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good shit. Good shit.
Man,
Good shit.
Yeah, I wish I had that prof at some point. Maybe not for my major, but I would love.
yeah, back then I was super happy.
Yeah.
I got to watch Star Wars,
Yeah.
buy some popcorn with the classmates,
Yeah.
and I get A at the end of semester.
Yeah.
But looking back at it now, fuck, I paid for that. My mom paid for that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even get.
You paid
anything.
for crap.
Hey,
No, that's the most expensive movie you're ever gonna watch, right?
amazing.
You can download that shit now.
Then you'll be wishing for a day when you're starting filing your taxes instead of what type of taxes are you applying for? They'd ask you what planet
Yeah.
did Yoda exile on?
I guess.
Wouldn't that be the dream, right?
I guess that's what Jory is saying.
You have a major in Star Wars.
No industry people are teaching right now.
Yeah.
I mean I don't know right now, but before then in my time,
Yeah, I mean, these students are not aware of what's coming to them.
yeah.
But do you even...
They can see it, but the bridge isn't there. The bridge
Yeah,
that kind
it's
of gets
hard.
them from
It's
what
hard.
what they can see and what they should know. That's where the educator comes in, because we know what's out there and we've seen the games, we've seen all of that, but there's no one to kind of communicate that to them, and that's where the disconnect happens.
There is an argument though, like since the internet is pretty much then an information gold mine, teachers would probably be like, then why teach? Everything is out there.
Because we all need a mentor.
Yeah.
Right. We all need that person that either encourages us or just kicks our ass or does something to wake us up.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not just be one person; it could be a whole course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we need something to kind of spark that passion, that fire that gets you going, and not just saying that maybe it'd be nice to do this for a living, but that thing that makes you feel
That's what your auntie says, right?
yeah that thing that makes you feel like I have to do this for a living because this is what
This is the only
I
one
was
I
born
know.
to do. And I mean that passion is what creative industries are all about. That's what sets us apart from the 9 to 5 academic type thing.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean they have their own thing, we have our own thing, but if we're not gonna be passionate about it, then we're never gonna excel about with what we do.
True. And speaking of passion, I kind of remember the moment during college. Well, this is pretty much unrelated to video games, but it's more of passion.
Yeah.
Passion.
Passion.
USA.
The passion.
9 to 5. Passion with Jamul Bernaldez.
Welcome to the evening portion of our podcast.
Oh, I'm terrible trumpet. So anyway, this is a little story that I would tell forever to any people who would ask me, where did your passion come from? So then down here, baby. No, I kid. It was
Awkward.
So like you guys pretty much know I really love comics ever since I got here.
Yeah, Jamil is the comic head here.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. So
All kinds of comics like FHM, Uno,
Bulgar,
Tick Tick.
the ones that are beneath Manila Bulletin headlines.
No, it's true. Jim is the comic head here.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Comics, unlike this era, is regarded as pretty much childish stuff. Especially in the 90s. Everything's gritty, it's teen angst, grunge era comics. And we pretty much grew up on those kinds of things because it was cool. Especially for our age, in our age group. Now, my parents were pretty much supportive on what I wanted to do in life. So, okay, here, buy some comics. But since I grew up in Saudi Arabia, which was pretty much devoid of anything fun besides punching a camel. Guys, don't punch camels. They'll eat you like a motherfucker. So,
Where did that come from?
Animal rights, man.
nightmares. So comics in the 90s is regarded as pretty much juvenile, kid stuff. And like now, it's like, I know Iron Man. And
Yeah,
well, most of us were like, I know Iron Man before you knew Iron Man.
So hipster.
Yeah. Not only am I a comic book guy, I'm also a hipster. Please don't hate me. Okay, to the story. So, comics, child stuff. And when I got into college, the mood was pretty much like, oh, you're an adult now because you're in college, right? That's pretty much the thing that your parents or anybody older is talking to tells you about. So after a while, my interest into comics started to wane. Started wane because more important things are in my head right now, like getting good grades, etc., etc. Even though I'm in a subject called advertising, which is pretty ironic if you ask me. So here comes this professor. She's a arts history professor, and she told me.
Yay.
First thing she do.
She had legs for days.
Yeah, I'll show you some history. So first thing she told the whole class was, anybody here reads comics? Only a few raised their hands. I also raised my hands. Oh, comics. Okay, I know comics. And her little project after class, she told us, you're gonna make a journal and start creating comics, and you get an extra grade. And I said, yeah, right on.
Journal.
I'm gonna make that.
Yeah, good beginning for every porno.
What?
Oh, we're not talking about porno.
We're talking about grades, man. Grades.
Yeah, good grades.
I will
do
comic
this.
you so hard.
Check out my line width.
Whoa! Okay.
Okay, stop. So here's the thing. She asked us if you want a copy of the entire Sandman comic series. I don't know I have no idea what Sandman is, but it's comics and I want it. And after reading that, my mind exploded because it opened a whole new world for me on what potential comics can give when telling a story. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing to me was it was an adult who recommended to me that this thing is not really child stuff. There are other comics are made for adults. And this is one of them. And this is where you start. I mean, that's where I start when I started getting back to restoring my love for comics from here on out.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of thing it kind of shows how passionate one person is. Is just willing to show that something as menial as this, a little drawing on a page, a little color, a few monsters, is something something that people can take importance on. It's not just like, oh, it's a doodle and throw it up in the fridge, or oh, hey, he makes a good drawing of somebody famous, caricatures.
Yeah, this is also going back to what Kyle said about mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good example of mentorship right there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have a mentor or anything like that? Kind of come along and say, hey, maybe.
Actually, I did. I mean, when I was in second year, I have this major subject, advertising arts. I mean, you really get to. Our professor is an art director for an agency.
What agency?
What was that back then? DYR,
Okay,
Densu
did-
Young and Rubicam.
Okay.
Yeah. So
The old guard.
so he teaches a sideline gig for him just to get out of the office. And so he always brings stuff from his work for 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 us to look at. I mean, some good art. I mean, back then it was all traditional and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the illustration board with the overlay of the tracing paper
Oh
and
my
this
God,
overlay.
Those days.
Yeah.
Those days. The shit was
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. So yeah, back then, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, these are industry people that's teaching industry stuff.
Not
Yeah.
only that, hey, this is something you're gonna do for the rest of your life, but you're gonna might as well be enjoying it.
Yeah. Plus, he also teaching us back then industry techniques that they do. I mean, don't do that. Don't buy that stuff. I mean,
Ah.
he tells us that shit, everything. So
That would have made all the difference, right? Because you'd get to
made
focus
really all
right
the
away.
difference. Yeah.
Do you even think that regarding on what we just told the story about of our mentors back then? Do you think that it's because somehow some people address their students not as just those young ones, but
Mhm.
they address them more as a adult? Something like what his mentor did. He's giving you tools of the trade. He's showing you stuff like a normal coworker would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much feel like, hey, this is alright. It's not so scary after all. And this guy's showing me stuff probably I'm not supposed to see, and yet I feel like I could be just like him someday.
Yeah, it's like getting let in on a secret, right? Like something you're not supposed to know. They don't teach this in school, but here, have a look at some of the work we did for our, our company, for our studio, for our,
It's really gold hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sort of thing that'll make you feel like, I have an edge.
Mm.
I know something I'm not supposed to know, so maybe I can take this and be a little bit better than everyone.
Yeah. I think it's also the something I call the human connection.
Deep shit.
Yeah, something we have a lot of here in S6.
It's pretty deep here.
We connect wireless.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I just thought of something. Going back to the importance of a mentor.
Mhm.
So we're saying, like, why do we need a mentor? That when there's the internet.
Yeah, the ultimate
Yeah.
mentor.
I just thought of something to compare this with. Like, let's just say there's the Angel's Burger. There's the raw meat there.
Yeah. Is it even
That's the
meat?
internet. That's the internet. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of meat on the internet.
Yeah.
Mystery.
And you're the student, right?
hungry
So-
student.
Yeah. Angry. Yeah. And then who's gonna cook that? Who's gonna cook that stuff?
Certainly not you.
No. Here. Like to take that point. I mean, you see a burger and you know that you're supposed to cook it, right? And you're gonna cook it, but it's never gonna taste like the best burger you've ever
Yeah,
had.
not like the Angel's Burger.
Which is the best burger that we ever have.
Oh, Who's gonna cook that? Of course, the mentor. It's Ate.
Yeah, Yeah.
Wow, you cook so good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean-
I see your analogy
Right.
there.
Because she does it professionally, whereas
Yeah.
someone that
Yeah.
doesn't do it professionally, I mean, they could make one burger, they can make maybe two burgers, but can they make 24 freaking burgers, 24 footlongs in like 5 minutes? No, probably not. Angel's Burger.
Check it out.
24.
Munchpunch.com. Angel's Burger. 5 stars.
5 stars.
Yeah, well that's. I'm kind of hungry, so I just thought of it.
Yeah, yeah. It is really interesting. Like one. It's one thing. It's one thing an institute, especially here, probably somewhere else. But it's also one thing. It is one thing that how one institute with all that technology, and still it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough for people to know the stuff they really wanted to know. I mean, given that is how pretty much how life works. I mean, we've learned so much stuff outside rather than in school,
Mm-hmm.
and ever since then, I think most artists feel that way.
Yeah.
That there's always something lacking in every institution or even every college. That is why they set up these online courses,
Yeah.
right?
But how come the College of Design in Pasadena, all the students that graduate there, they all say that they've learned everything there?
Then it must be a damn good school.
Yeah. I guess that's the difference between specialized schools and with all due respect, colleges that we have here. I mean, if you took a graduate in multimedia arts from here and you compare them to a graduate of multimedia from VFS or something like that, I mean, that's a completely different level, and that's the difference there is the kind of teaching that they have. Whereas some colleges focus on grades, some colleges focus on really preparing students and graduates for what's out there in the industry.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Maybe this is also a wake up call for us.
Yeah.
Like
the talent's
maybe-
there, the potential is there.
maybe we should be ate cooking Angel's Burger and mentoring.
And Ate is mentoring you.
Yeah.
This is how to cook 24 burgers consistently.
I'm just thinking maybe we should.
Get Angel's Burger.
Yeah.
Learn from it.
Yeah.
So right now, despite everything that we said, there has been some progress regarding education or awareness of the game industry, especially here in the Philippines. Like we've heard stories that Southeast Asia is pretty much the largest outsourcing agencies, or they're pretty much most of the go-to outsourcing agencies from big game companies in the United States or wherever.
It's in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because it's cheap.
yeah, and
Because we have a lot of people.
and besides that, there has been also as far as I noticed, there has been a rise on, like, say, graphic design, typography, especially here in the Philippines.
Yeah,
So
it's booming.
yeah, bravo for them that finally they get the recognition they've so much deserved. And
Yeah, I
here-
mean, like Graphical Manila,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happened annually, right?
Yeah.
They invite industry people from other parts of the world. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
like
big thing.
Ashthorpe.
Yeah.
Ashthorpe, man.
Yep, shout out to Ashthorpe.
you're the
hearing
reason why
this-
we started this shit.
If you're hearing this, you're the inspiration, man.
You are the ate of the Angels Burger.
You. Nothing.
So yeah, so you have Graphical Manila, you have Icon, the recently established Icon Manila, which we have attended.
Is that the one with what's his name?
Armand Serrano,
Yeah,
Serrano.
with Marcelo
I think
Signali.
Vignali,
Yeah.
man, they were good. And Steven Silver,
Yeah, Steven
man.
Silver last year.
The
That
guy
was,
who made
Stephen
Kim
fucking
Possible,
Silver.
Danny Phantom, and the Clerks cartoon.
yeah,
It was awesome,
that was fun.
but it was short.
Yeah, no, it was a short conference, and they were never going to get that much information into a few hours. But
yeah.
just I mean, to me, that made a difference. Like having people who were from the industry, like in the U.S., coming over here, saying that they've worked for Disney, Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
Sony, all of that stuff, and just having them talk to me. I mean, that woke me up a little bit.
So it is something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
it's-
seeing the Filipinos there. Like, oh, okay, I could come from Davao and like end up in California working for Disney. That's doable.
Yeah, I mean, like when Genesis came here, right?
Yeah.
I
it
mean,
was-
compare that before he came and after.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was very much eye-opening. It's like, wow,
it's
something from
really
outside.
eye-opening. Yeah.
And all this stuff that he taught us, like, wow.
Yeah, because all the internet won't bring that experience to you. You'll
Oh,
see it.
the
You'll see it.
We go
but-
back to that topic. Yeah.
Yeah, at this burger,
Burger.
Who's gonna cook that?
Yeah, here we go again.
Nobody's gonna cook that.
I mean, I heard this quote before. I forget who told it to me or who said it. All those didn't really stick with me, but someone told me something along the lines of, "Life is the toughest teacher. It gives you the test before it gives you the lesson." And that when someone told me that, that kind of stuck with me because it sounded cool at the time. But looking back at it, those students that are going through college now, they're not going to have the life. They're not going to have the experience that
Yeah.
they need to be able to do this properly. But all those people that are out there working, like, people working for Naughty Dog, people that are working for Weta Digital, people who are working for, Pixar, Blizzard, big companies, they've had the life. And if they taught the lesson that life taught them to the future generation, just think how much more of an advantage and how much further they can go knowing these things that they will only find out once they step in. If someone told you that this is where, things are heading, these are the things you need to know to not only get into the industry, but to excel and to compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
Just think how much more they could push themselves.
Sure.
And if we get those people in to teaching and to sharing their experiences, then yeah, I think that would just be that'll just push the level of the education game wise in the Philippines to new heights.
Yeah, not so much compete, but more or less stand out.
Well,
Yeah.
we want to compete.
We want to compete, man.
We want to shut all the other studios down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is world domination.
yeah.
It's already starting.
No one wants to go up there and say, "Hey guys, no, we work for the fourth best studio in the Philippines." You want to go there and say, "This is our house."
Yeah. Defend the house.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. Cavs are gonna win.
Watch basketball.
Neither do I, but Cavs are gonna win.
You poser.
Yeah, that's why I am.
Yeah. And
Just something like that. Just getting those industry people would be great.
Yeah. So again, we're pretty much going to this uphill climb, but we are climbing towards that anyway. And from the way we see it, there has been a lot of news that pretty much a lot of students were making their own indie games, which is awesome.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Especially one that stood out was what was that game that was picked up by Square Enix? There was some program that Square Enix initiated, like, show us your game and we'll be the ones to publish it. It was on Steam and it was a game made right here locally.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty big. At least now we know that that's even a possibility, because they've given us an option to say, from the big boys of their, hey, now it's time for you to show us your game and see how good you are.
Yeah, I mean, that's the very reason Unreal made their engine
Free.
free.
Thank you.
Thank you, Unreal.
And not just free, I mean, everything
Mm-hmm.
is free. All the content, there's no limit.
Oh man. So imagine what we could do.
Yeah, I mean, the tools is there. I mean,
Mhm.
they're trying to cultivate the industry
Mhm.
further.
Okay, so besides that, creating indie games is hard. First, you need the resources, the finance, the backing, the time, especially the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to fully work on. So
Or
right now
this,
we pretty
paycheck.
much settled on working on mobile games for the most of it because it does give us the money
Yeah.
to keep the studio running. Now the question is,
It's also got a lot faster turnaround than
Yeah.
working on AAA titles. If you're a small studio starting up, mobile is probably
Yeah.
the way to go in
Yeah.
order to fund yourself and to get something out there as quick as you can.
yeah. But do you think like how long then or how long when till one studio say okay we're gonna start making our own games, given it's pretty much the biggest financial risk that they will do for their company.
Yeah. Well, mobile games still count as their own games. I mean, and look at games like, you've got the indie games like Flappy Bird that have gone and made, multi-thousands of.
Yeah, but
And-
that was made by a guy who isn't working in a studio just like this.
Exactly. So, I mean, if a guy like that could make a game like that
Yeah,
and really
in
catch
his
the eye of
bedroom.
people,
Mm-hmm.
I think mobile games are a good, starting point for small indie studios to kind of get their IP out there. It's easier to publish through Android than it is to to go through bigger studios. And like you mentioned, the time it takes to do a mobile game is also a lot shorter, and the risk is smaller too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the risk is smaller.
And gone are the days when people think mobile games are just cheap little games, because now they're getting better. The graphics are getting nicer.
It's much more accessible now since the revolution of smartphones. Like I mean, hey, Konami is planning to be fully focused on mobile games right now.
Yeah, plus it's attracting non-game industry people. Like,
Shoot,
for example,
casual
Monument
gamers.
Valley was
Yeah.
made by web designers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, that's something is interesting. I mean, the rise of indie games right now. You could pretty much say about let's say 3 years ago, at least from my point of view, like you see one mobile game, you see in the mall, and then there are people who started popping up, showing something really different. Now the question is, would there be a time that a game like that, like for example Monument Valley, would be created here locally? I'm pretty sure
Maybe.
there will be, given how the resources now.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean the skill set is here already.
Then, okay, now besides that, going back to the question, how about the studios? I mean, the outsourcing studios. Do you think that they would stay being an outsourcing studio or go for the jump on trying to release their own IP?
IP, yeah.
I think that's the natural progression.
I think that's the dream. Yeah, I mean,
It is a dream.
nobody. I mean, outsourcing is okay, but no one would say no to being able to make their own IP and be in control of a project.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just gives you so much more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue with that would be funding and all of that, but that's on a studio per studio basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think bring up your point of when it should happen. I think it's whenever a studio feels comfortable enough that they're doing well enough financially, they have enough manpower to do it, and they can handle
Mm-hmm.
the responsibility of
Yeah,
putting
I
in
mean,
that investment.
it's just a matter of calculated risk, I think.
True. It is a business after all.
Yeah.
I mean,
We haven't put one out yet, have we? In the Secret
no,
Six?
but it's in the progress.
Not
because-
yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, a new IP.
Studio that brought you.
One man. One man.
So it's either that or outsourcing studios stay outsourcing studios. Well, or then maybe people from those studios would go and say, "Hey, let's get out together and make our own game.
Yeah, I mean,
Screw working for the man."
I mean,
That's a possibility, though.
outsourcing might make a lot of money. So I mean, if a studio wants to say outsourcing, that's cool. That's their thing. It's more of an individual choice, a personal choice, whether you want to kind of venture out and risk that. But if you're happy doing assets, like I think it's okay for me to say we've worked with Naughty Dog, and their assets are really nice. And, they're cutting edge stuff. So doing those assets, I mean, that's very fulfilling. And
we get to learn stuff from them.
oh yeah,
Lots of stuff.
one man.
Yeah, so to you guys that are listening, I mean, play Naughty Dog games. I mean,
Yeah.
If you see a life vest, one of us made that.
Was that anyone here? Was it actually? I thought that was Therine.
No.
Oh, she had a bucket.
It was me.
Oh.
I made that life vest.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, the days when I cried and locked myself in the CRs. I can't do this. I can't do this. I wiped my tears away.
You did? You
Yeah.
did cry?
This is why I still smoke.
Yep, that's out there, and the world knows now.
Yeah. so anyway, because since we're nearing the 1 hour mark,
yeah,
closing remarks.
good stuff.
We're doing pretty good. Not there, but I'd be surprised if somebody. Oh wait, no, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else right now would show up something really amazing. Create a game really amazing that really does stand out and say something that, well, besides, oh, this one's made from the Philippines. One thing is, I'm not really inclined to that, claiming this one's made from the Philippines. I think I like it better more if we say this game is something new. This game is something new that you have never seen or experienced.
Something
before.
different.
Yeah.
And even though everything is a remix, at least that game could be a refreshing air beside amidst all the indie game titles that have been released today.
Yeah, and that's getting harder and harder to do because
It
in
is.
indie games right now and like mobile gaming, all of that, that's kind of the in thing, and everyone's kind of rushing to try and get their idea out there.
Mm-hmm.
And to be the
It's
next,
a rat race.
to be the next Flappy Bird, to be the next, Angry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about birds.
Birds.
Yeah, but just
The
to be
next
to be
Candy
the next
Crush.
big thing, Candy Crush.
Mhm.
Yeah, and everyone's kind of scrambling their way up to get their idea out there,
Mhm.
but it just takes one person to have that idea that no one else has had,
Mhm.
and if that comes from here, it'd be so good. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So, game closing remarks. What do you want to say to our listeners?
Yeah,
How many, no matter how many are they?
Yeah,
Pretty much sure there are only like 5 for now.
Okay.
Including us four.
That makes 10. Woo!
To the
Can be famous.
to our future listeners in Mexico, como esta? No, I guess.
Wait, I mean, what would you say to the up-and-coming artist who wants to get into this industry?
Yeah.
Well, you can.
Run, Forrest, run!
I hear nursing is good.
Well, if you really want it, go get it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I took the tests here, the art tests here, Secret 6, and I failed twice. And then I guess, of course, I'll be the first one to admit I didn't get in because I was good at drawing or 3D. No, I didn't know anything about that. But I guess if you really want it, if you have passion or you have the drive, you'll find a way.
Yeah, I mean, this shit is hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not rocket science or anything.
Rule number 1, you will suffer.
Yeah.
Rule number 2,
You'll suffer more.
you will never see your friends. But rule number 4,
What was 3?
oh, well, 3. Rule number 3 is you will forget how to do math. If you're a video game artist, developers are amazing at math. So rule number 4, you will never give up. Yeah, and just
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to work your ass off. I mean, it's
and
just
again find your ate. It makes your burgers.
Find your
Yeah,
ate
and
that makes your
mean-
burger.
yeah, and hold on to your passion. I mean.
You can say hold on to your patties.
Into your patties,
Your Krabby Patties. Yeah. So that's it for now. Our very first episode. And for our second attempt. Signing off. This is Jamal Bernaldez.
This is Kyle Abad.
This is game.
This is Jory Aquino.
And remember,
Eat
some dynamite.
Dynamite. And we're off.
Ooh.